Another caller heard 10 shots from near the front of the entrance. Caller says possibly from inside.
Because this is a sight that no one should ever have to see.
I'm just happy he's alive. I'm happy he's okay. Again, like he said, condolences to everybody else's families, but as far as mine, I'm happy he's fine.
I'm trying to think about what, who in the world would do some stuff like that. I mean, there's enough shootings going on in this world, but we don't need this. For what? It don't make any sense.
It's a dark day that Indianapolis will not soon forget. Thank you for your time on this afternoon. I'm Megan Shen. And the tragedy happened just over 12 hours ago at one of the busiest work sites here in Indiana. 8 people are dead following the country's latest mass shooting, and the gunfire at the FedEx facility on the southwest side is one of the worst mass shootings ever in our city. Within the past hours or so, we've learned more about what happened at this FedEx facility. We're also watching as families of people who work there wait anxiously to find out whether loved ones are okay. Coming up, our Megan Sanctorum is at the hotel where those families have gathered. But first, our Nikki Dementri is live this midday with what investigators and the mayor had to say just a short time ago. Nikki.
Megan, emotions were high here in this room as we stand here really just a few miles away from that FedEx ground facility where everything unfolded around 11 on Thursday night. We do know at this moment that scene is still an active crime scene. The 8 victims are still on scene there. They are not being identified at this moment in time. What we also know from this briefing this morning, police told us that it appears the shooter drove to the facility, got out of his car, and just started shooting randomly. He shot outside and then made his way inside. When they arrived is when they found him inside. Again, there are many questions left unanswered at this moment in time. I want to walk you through again what we do know right now and what's developing at this hour. Police say when they arrived around 11, the shooting was already over. The suspect was found inside and believed to have died by suicide. A rifle was found with the shooter, but it's not clear the specifics of the weapon at this point. And out of the 8 victims, 4 were found outside and 4 were found inside. Again, police say the shooter pulled up to the FedEx facility, got out of his car, and just began randomly shooting there. As the investigation continues, the coroner's office has not been able to get on scene to start that lengthy process of the victims, notifying their families, as well as positively identifying, I should say, the shooter there. And the FBI is assisting IMPD and others in the investigation at this hour.
This suspect came to the facility, and when he came there, he got out of his car and pretty quickly started some random shooting outside the facility. There was no confrontation with anyone that was there. There was no disturbance. There was no argument. He just appeared to randomly start shooting, and that began in the parking lot, and then he did go into the building, into the facility for a brief period of time before he took his own life.
Now, this is the 3rd mass shooting that Hoosiers here in the city of Indianapolis, really across the state, I should say, and across the country have had to woken up to here in the city of Indianapolis. At the presser this morning, Mayor Hogsett says for the community to heal, we did ask him that question. He says we need to engage in serious and meaningful conversations to curb that violence. Again, at this hour, we have many questions left unanswered at this point. Police have told us that they will try to provide us with as much and as many information as quickly as they can. We will keep you updated on our website, WRTV.com, as well as our social media channels and push alerts through our app there. But for now, live in Indianapolis, Nikki Dementri, WRTV.
Nikki, thank you so much for that report. And the wait has been agonizing for the families of those who work at the FedEx facility. Overnight, they were brought to a hotel to wait the word on their fate. And some have been reunited and some are still waiting. Our Megan Sanctorum has been talking to some of those family members this midday, and she joins us live with more on what they're going through right now. Megan.
Yeah, good afternoon, Megan. It's a very emotional and really heavy scene here at the Holiday Inn. This is where families have come to wait to learn information about their loved ones who were employees at that FedEx there. I can tell you just a few minutes ago, the mayor and chief of police did arrive here. They went inside this room here to speak with some of the families. So they are inside doing that right now. Now, we've been here all morning and we've seen a lot of families coming and going. We've seen some families walk out hugging and crying tears of joy, learning that their loved one is okay. But there are still a lot of people here who don't have any answers. This has been more than 12 hours now. Really unimaginable what they're going through. I spoke with one woman. She tells me her husband went to work at FedEx yesterday just like any other day. He was just doing his job. And then she says he usually gets off around 10. But she started to worry when she hadn't heard from him for a few hours. She tells me Thursdays are when employees can pick up their paychecks, so she knew he may be a little later than normal because he was going to do that after his shift. But then she got word of the shooting. We know employees are not allowed to bring their phones into work with them, so she and other families haven't really been able to touch base with them to see how those employees are doing and if they are okay. That woman I spoke with said she called her son. Another family came to drive her out here to this hotel. They just went in to ask about him and said they still have no information on where he is or if he's okay. And once again, this is 12 hours later. They are still waiting. Here's what she had to say when we spoke with her earlier.
Terrible, the fear. I mean, at least we have each other, but when I was home by myself, you know, before they came to get me, it was just, I didn't know how I was going to, you know, just so nervous and scared and everything. Well, then right away I had feelings of being a widow.
Now, she said she's remaining hopeful. She knows that police have told her that there are still a lot of people who they are waiting to interview. She said police said that those interviews can take up to 4 hours. So right now it's just a waiting game. They're hoping to learn some good news soon. We'll, of course, be out here for the next few hours and bring you more updates as we get them. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
Megan, we know everyone's holding their breath. Thank you so much. And we, of course, will have multiple crews covering this developing story throughout the day. You can find all of our coverage right now at WRTV.com, and that includes our live blog as well, which is always updated with the latest information as it comes into our newsroom. Stay connected at WRTV.com. And time now to get a check of the forecast with meteorologist Todd Clausen. Hey, Todd.
Yeah, Megan, as we round out the work week here across central Indiana, we are doing so with temperatures that are running just a little bit below normal. Now, the good news is we have plenty of sunshine out there, at least for now, across central Indiana. As you look from downtown to the north, you can see just a few fair weather clouds out there. And here are your temperatures. We started this morning off in the 30s, and with the sunshine that we have had this morning and now into the early afternoon, temperatures have made a big jump forward. In fact, we're close to 60 already in Lafayette. 55 in Bloomington. It's 53 currently in Indianapolis. But you can see the clouds already increasing in Terre Haute as well as Bloomington as we expand out. It's part of a storm system that is off to our west. Now, most of this precipitation, whether it's rain and or snow, is going to bypass us to the south. So you don't have to worry about any precipitation this afternoon and this evening, but you will notice the skies start to get a little more overcast as the afternoon and evening wears on. High temperatures top off right around 60 degrees, so it's fairly pleasant this afternoon. We'll talk more about your weekend forecast coming up when the news at noon continues right here on WRTV.
I wasn't in the facility where it happened, but being within the FedEx, area or in the vicinity, it was very just nerve-wracking. You know, I mean, were they going to come to our job or what was going to go on? It's a lot, the process.
Scary moments for many FedEx employees after the mass shooting overnight that left 8 people dead. Now, one of the nation's leading supporters of new gun laws says the federal and state government need to take action to better protect Hoosiers. And we spoke with the Indiana chapter of Moms Demand Action. The group points out that in Indiana, you do not need a background check to purchase a firearm through private sales, and legislation could close that gap. It's unclear what type of gun was used in last night's shooting and how it was accessed. But Moms Demand Action says if you want to do something to prevent mass shootings, you can safely secure your gun.
If there's one thing that all Hoosiers could do to get in this and to fight this together, is to keep your guns locked up. It's a very simple. gun locks are free. In fact, Indianapolis Public Libraries has gun locks available. You can go to your local police department to get a gun lock for free. It would be the one thing that we could all really rally around, would just be to safely store our weapons.
Just so you know, Indiana does have a red flag law that allows you to contact police if a loved one is having a mental health crisis. And the guns could be removed until the person is cleared by a judge. And you can go to onethingtodo.org to find out more information. And we continue to work to find out more about this deadly mass shooting at the FedEx facility. Here's a live look at the Southwest Side facility from our WRTV drone. Condolences are coming in to Indianapolis from across the country. More on that in the news at noon as it continues. Stay with us here. You can see by all those statements on your screen a very busy past 13 hours here. And we continue our coverage of the tragedy at the FedEx facility near the airport. The country's latest mass shooting is reverberating across the country today. And as you saw during that montage, well, there have been statements flowing in since the overnight hours. A Hoosier who has one of the nation's highest profile jobs is among those grieving following the mass shooting here in his hometown. Ron Klain is a graduate of North Central High School here in Indianapolis. And Mayor Joe Hogsett said today he got a text from Klain offering any help the city may need from the White House. And of course, we'll continue to follow this as the day goes on. And on this Friday, we want to get a check of the weather with meteorologist Todd Clausen. And Todd, we're hoping for some sunshine.
You know, we do have the sunshine out there. That is the good news, Megan. And as we go forward in this forecast, there's opportunities for sunshine. The one thing that we're not going to see is a big-time warm-up. Our temperatures are going to continue to run at or just a little bit below normal for the most part over the next 7 days. And I'll show you that 7-day planner coming up in just a minute. Here's a live look in Bloomington this morning and now into the afternoon hours, I guess, at 12:17. Just a few fair weather clouds building. Otherwise, plenty of sunshine for you currently across the area, but the trend will be for the clouds to continue to increase throughout the afternoon hours. Now it's going to kind of be that high overcast sky with the filtered sunshine rather than a completely overcast solid cloud day, and that makes a big difference going forward as far as the temperatures, as we'll continue to be able to warm a little bit in the coming hours. We're at 55 right now in Bloomington as well as Bedford, 53 in Indianapolis, 58 is the current temperature in Lafayette, and 52 pretty common there along US 31 as you work your way from Tipton through Kokomo up into the Peru area. You can see some of those clouds starting to increase there in Terre Haute as well as Bloomington, and they're part of a storm system that is off to our west that has rain and snow with it. And then on the southern side of that storm, there's some severe weather possible today in parts of Texas. While this entire storm system is going to kind of swing by down to the south, and it's just going to give us a little bit of a glancing blow as far as some clouds today and then the shower opportunity tomorrow. So carry on with any outdoor plans. You'll notice the clouds increase with that filtered sunshine. Highs today right around 60 degrees. This evening, you're just fine if you have plans on this Friday night as we fall back down into the 50s with mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow morning, not quite as cold in most locations, still some 30s to the north and east, but otherwise in the 40s across the area. And your weekend forecast features some showers, but definitely not a washout. 57 tomorrow, 60 on Sunday. And let me go over and show you the rain chances for tomorrow. And they're not great. Do not cancel any outdoor plans because of the shower chance tomorrow. It's mainly one, only in southern locations. And two, you see how light and how spotty they'll be throughout the morning and into the early afternoon. It's not a great rain chance whatsoever for us. And then Sunday, the rain chance is even lower with just a real small chance of a shower in the afternoon. Monday's by far the best day in this forecast, Megan, with a high of 64, followed by Tuesday, which is not going to be the most pleasant day with chilly temperatures and numerous showers around across the area.
Todd, thanks for bringing some sunshine to our day. And as Indianapolis processes another mass shooting today, comes news that gun sales across the country are soaring. That means the FBI is having to do a lot of work on background checks. But how do agents make sure those checks are complete? Stephanie Liebergen with our partners at Newsy takes a look.
The FBI processed a record high number of gun background checks in March, nearly 4.7 million in 1 month. The agency is able to make an immediate determination about 90% of the time, but what happens when it can't? Federal law gives the National Instant Criminal Background Check System 3 business days to process an application. If it's still pending after 3 days, federally licensed firearms dealers are allowed to complete the sale anyway. The FBI says results are most commonly delayed when NICS has an incomplete criminal history. The missing information means employees need to hunt down the relevant details before they can determine whether the applicant is allowed to have a gun, and sometimes that process takes more than 3 days. If the background check eventually results in a denial, but that person already purchased a firearm, the FBI passes the case to the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives as a firearm retrieval referral. In 2019, nearly 3,000 people who should have been prohibited from buying a gun were able to do so because their 3-day waiting period expired. The ATF told Newsy they act on every single referral, and firearms are usually recovered within a week.
On this vote, the yeas are 219 and the nays are 210. The bill is passed.
The House of Representatives has passed a bill to extend that 3-day approval window to 20 days. That proposal is awaiting Senate action, and Democratic Senator Mark Warner says the 3-week window will likely need to be shortened to garner enough support to pass.
There ought to be a rational way that we could figure out if someone has been advocating violence, advocating a race war, advocating overthrow of the government in a violent way. I mean, that's a rational thing that we ought to have knowledge of before we give that person, particularly an assault weapon.
Gun background check requests rose significantly during the coronavirus pandemic. In 2020, NICS processed 11.3 million more applications than the year before. The FBI told Newsy the agency is able to respond to the increase in applications using more staffing and more overtime hours to meet the demand. Stephanie Liebergen, Newsy, Washington.
This is unacceptable for Indianapolis. Our IMPD officers went towards danger, as they typically do. And when they arrived on the scene, they found something that really no one should see.
In times of despair, I know that our residents will rally together and help one another make it through. The eyes of the nation are on Indianapolis today in ways that we would never have hoped for.
Right now, this midday, WRTV is continuing to find out anything we can about the mass shooting at a local FedEx facility. It left 9 people dead, including the shooter who took his own life. WRTV is working to learn more about what led up to this, what families are going through, and what resources are available if you find yourself struggling with what has happened. You'll be able to find all of those updates on the WRTV website, WRTV.com. Let's get one more check of the weather with meteorologist Todd Clausen.
All right, look for the clouds to increase here this afternoon just a little bit with a high of 60 degrees. Over the weekend, just the chance of a few spotty showers tomorrow in southern locations. Otherwise, mostly cloudy for your Saturday, a high of 58. Brighter on Sunday, a high of 60 with, again, a spot shower chance in the afternoon. Monday looks great. Tuesday looks very chilly with some scattered showers and maybe even, Megan, some snow showers mixed in Tuesday evening as we head into Wednesday.
Todd, thank you for that forecast, and thank you for making WRTV your choice for the news at noon. Join us for the news at 5. Take care of yourself and each other. We are Indy Strong.